Just before airtime, I talked to a Democratic member of the committee, Congressman Tom Suozzi. Congressman Suozzi, I mean, you're not only a trained CPA, you're also an attorney. So when Sarah Sanders says you and your colleagues aren't smart enough to review the president's taxes, I'm wondering what you thought of that.
Well, first of all, I'm a former CPA and a former attorney because I don't do the continuing education requirements anymore. And I don't know if I'm smart enough, but I was trained in these areas.
I would think, yes, I would think if anybody could take a look at these and have at least some idea of what was going on, it would be you and others. How much do you think can actually be learned from the president's tax returns? Because there are people who say, well, look, people put their best foot forward. You know, what's in the returns is what they want the IRS to know about them.
Well, first, I want to try and make a very big point. The very big point is that the chairman of the Ways and Means Committee is utilizing this very unique power that he has because very few people realize that every president and every vice president is supposed to be audited by the IRS. It's in the IRS manual that every president and every vice president for the past 40 years is supposed to be audited by the IRS. And that was done to take away the discretion from the... Yeah, nobody's talking about it. That's why he's doing this. He's requesting these tax returns in the first place because this policy's been in place to take away the discretion of the employees so the employees aren't under pressure that they have to decide whether or not to audit the president. Every president, every vice president is supposed to be audited by the IRS. And the request that Chairman Neal is making is to find out in a very narrow and targeted way, is the IRS doing what it says in the IRS manual to actually audit the president?
So when the president says that he always gets audited, that he, as a citizen, he's always audited. For a while, he said he's audited every year, and then he said he's been audited for 2 or 3 years in a row. So a little contradiction there. The idea that you cannot release your returns, or nobody would advise anybody to release their returns while they are being audited, what do you make of that argument?
That's complete fantasy. That's not accurate whatsoever. This is... The chairman specifically has this power to request anyone's tax returns, whether they're being audited or not. The IRS has made it clear that there's no prohibition based upon someone being audited. But again, the chairman has been very deliberate and very judicious in this process. He's not, talking about impeachment. He's not talking about collusion. He's not talking about this, that, and the other thing. He's trying to find out, is the IRS doing its job that it says specifically in its manual that it's supposed to do, and doing the audit that they're required to do? Or is someone putting pressure on them and saying, oh, we're not going to look at these tax returns? Are they going, there's a whole big process. You're supposed to take the president and the vice president's files and put them in orange folders and keep them in a special safe, and only certain people are allowed to look at them. But, because of all the frenzy that's been going on this topic, partisan on both sides, people are not looking at the narrow focus the chairman has taken here to look at this one question.
If it is just to see if the president is being audited per regulations, which every president you're saying is supposed to be, couldn't he just ask the IRS that and have the IRS, a representative from the IRS under oath say, yes, in fact, the president is being audited?
Well, we have to see what the extent of the procedure they are following is. A one-page, one-sentence explanation is not sufficient. He wants to see, of course, it's a very complicated matter here with the president having over 500 different entities that are all flowing up through these holding corporations, and he wants to see the extent to which they're conducting this examination, or if they're conducting this examination, of the president's returns.
Congressman, I appreciate your time. We'll continue to watch this. Thank you.
Anderson, thank you very much.